Hello and welcome to Angry Andy Reviews, and this is my review for A Real Pain.
Angry Andy.
Angry Andy Reviews.
Angry Andy. Angry Andy.
Angry Andy Reviews.
Angry Andy.
Angry Andy Reviews.
Angry Andy.
Angry Andy Reviews. Angry Andy Reviews.
Don't make me destroy you.
So, A Real Pain, written and directed by Jesse Eisenberg, it follows two Jewish American cousins, who go on a spiritual and emotional journey to pay respects to their recently deceased grandmother, a Holocaust survivor who used to live in Poland. They go on a tour which takes them to a number of Jewish memorials and old Jewish hotspots, and eventually leading them to an old concentration camp, and then finally to their old grandmother's address. During the journey, sort of like a weird sort of buddy comedy journey, but also a character story in the same breath. During this journey, old tensions start to rise, and there are some number of emotional beats that pop up between the two characters. A number of reveals that I won't get into in this. I don't want to spoil anything for those of you that are going to check this movie out. Suffice to say, it is a very tight, character-driven story. There are a lot of emotional beats between the two characters. There's nothing big or grandiose about the reveals. There's nothing explosive that happens. It is a very tight, small character study, an emotional journey for both the characters. And to be honest with you, I think the performance in this movie is what sells it. Both Jesse Eisenberg and Kieran Culkin are absolutely brilliant in this movie. I haven't seen Jesse Eisenberg for quite a while, I've not watched anything with him in. Nothing's really, caught my eye. But in this movie, he is absolutely perfect. And like I said, he directed this movie as well. And the direction is on point as well. The cinematography is wonderful. There are some lovely shots of old buildings in and around some Polish towns. The sequence where we drift through the old concentration camp is melancholic, it's emotional, it's weighty, and yet it's handled with a lot of care and respect, which is something, having been to a concentration camp myself, having visited one, it's something that doesn't leave you. And then this movie utilizes that. It pays respect in the right way with that, and it's a wonderful, tight sequence, a wonderful emotional sequence as well. Jesse Eisenberg plays David, who is this very straight, mild-mannered character. He's very nervous at the same time, but he's successful. He's a successful digital ad salesman, which conjures up a few jokes in the movie. And Kieran Culkin is Benji, this loud, abrasive, obnoxious person, so much so that he emails marijuana to the hotel where they're staying in Poland, but his charisma is somehow infectious, and people love him for that, despite his obnoxious flaws and his loudmouth antics, similar to me when I get off and going. But the performances, are opposites of each other, and yet they come together for what matters most in this movie, and that is the love of their grandmother. Everything centers around getting to see her old address, and while it doesn't quite go as planned when they finally get there, there are some wonderful reveals. Like I said, I won't reveal anything here in this review, but there are some wonderful reveals about their relationships and, their own issues between each other. Benji has some resentment towards David, and David is angry at Benji for something that he did a few years prior. So it's those performances, it's this character-driven story, which is what sells the film, is what really makes the film as well. Like I said, there's nothing grandiose about it. Everything is shot very tightly. We do get a decent sense of Poland and what the Jewish sort of settlements used to be like in and around that area, and it does give us some historical context, which is always greatly appreciated in a film like this. But it is those tight moments. There are some wonderful lines, some wonderful moments between each of them. And I think if you're looking for a film like that in amongst all these films coming out in January, the horror movie like The Wolfman and things like that, then this is a great sort of, not necessarily an antidote, but a great sort of addition. If you're looking for something a bit smaller and a bit more emotionally engaging, then this is the kind of film that I would recommend you check out. Like I said, there's nothing massively adventurous about the movie. It's just this wonderful character-driven emotional story, and the score goes along with that as well. It's there's a lot of piano concertos of it. I think from Chopin. I think I read that it was Chopin, and you know the music is so modest and unintrusive that you kind of just float along with it. And that's what this film is. You float along the journey with these two characters. You engage in their own emotional issues. You engage in their hopes and dreams and fears, and their sense of loss that they're both engaging with. It's wonderful, and yet underpinning everything is this impactful and wonderfully placed sense of humour. There are some very, very interesting comedic turns in this movie that don't feel like they intrude on the rest of the film. They're impactful in the right way. They make you laugh, maybe uncomfortably at times, but they still make you laugh. That's what makes this feel like a real character study, a real character journey. So yeah, I would very much check this movie out if you're interested in, in something like that. Not only that, but from a character perspective, it's well worth a watch. It's probably a film that might be discussed in film studies going on later on down the years. It's certainly something that I might look back on in a few years' time. But yes, not exactly the most adventurous movie. There's nothing bombastic, nothing explosive about this, but it's tender, it's light, it's funny in places, and above all, the characters are absolutely superb. The performances are superb, the direction is superb, and the score is just wonderful. A very melancholic film for this time of year, but like I said, it soars on those performances. So I would definitely check this movie out. Well, I'm going to leave that review there. I'm not going to reveal anything further or discuss anything further on it. Like I said, I think you should check it out for yourself. But yeah, if you enjoyed this review, please do give it a like. Subscribe to the channel for more reviews like this. And I will see you on the next one. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.